Yeah, what's up everybody and welcome to another video, and today we're gonna talk about the update that was coming next month. And well, here is the amazing banner Sheepyard has made with all 3 new cards, but next, a little bit later, we will go more in depth in those ones. So hello Stormbounders, a new version of Stormbound, early April, balance changes, 3 new cards, 2 legendary heroes, quality of life improvements and some exclusive others. So we got the COVID disclaimer and vaccination, and the disclaimer here is like some things are delayed, like the notification system in the friends that has put on the backlog, and multi-buy features from buying books. That will be amazing to get that one out, because once they have a new sale and you want to buy 99 noble books, this multi-buy feature will save you this finger or whatever finger you use to tap or click on getting all those nobles open. So well, later on next. So the big chunk is the balance changes, as we might expect. And here we see hit the release. Again, some balance changes, a lot of nerfs and or a lot of buffs, and basically 1 nerf. So we got Herald's Hymn. Ability now grants 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So +1 strength. I think it's a nice thing, especially in level 5 Hero League Diamond gameplay. You don't see Herald's Hymn that often. Most of the time you just go for Forgotten Souls. And on the lower leagues, Herald's Hymn has some popularity, especially since the Forgotten Souls isn't that all-powerful with surrounding command, but just, well, basically just one random bordering and then all bordering. Yeah, I think on Herald's Hymn on the lower leagues, you will definitely see it a little bit more. Just squeezing in 1 more damage might do the trick, especially since you play more heavy units compared to later on in Hero League, where you have a lower mana curve. So definitely something interesting, but most of the time I'm just looking forward to get this card a little bit more viable on the later league, and a little bit of scared for the silver gold shenanigans that might occur now. Alright, so a big one is Rhyme Links. That put the card also on the screen. Now cost 4 mana down from 5 and gain 2 mana down from 3. So this is actually really huge. So this card will be like a 2 mana 6 strength. So first, if you have like 5 mana, you don't really come to the 5 mana, because it's already way too late if you want this card being played on the 5 mana slot. But 4 mana, well, you already have 50% chance you can play this card immediately, especially on the lower and the higher leagues. You have an additional 2 mana cost card, so you have like a 6 mana plus a Sparkly Kitty is first turn 12 strength on the board. So hello Hunter's Vengeance, I suppose. So that's an interesting one. I do think it's well, it seems really powerful. Obviously it is, but how much I have seen Rhyme Links in the last years, it has been so decremental. I think it's a nice one that they shared some love to Rhyme Links. Hopefully it's not too OP, but I don't think so. It's still 4 mana, so first turn. If you are the first turn in a match, then this card is still basically doing nothing. And if the game continues on, you most likely don't want to have this card anyway, because you want to have maybe a little bit more powerful ones that scale exponentially. But it's nice. So next up we got Conflicted Drakes. Ability that now deals 2, 2, 3, 3, 4. So basically +1 strength for its ability on all the levels. Well, I think it's a good one. Like Conflicted Drakes, it's one card that, well, dragons aren't that popular anyway. Like, I don't see that many dragons in any league, so getting dragons a bit more valuable left and right. We have seen in the previous ones as well that dragons got small buffs. So this is a good step forward. The only thing I am a little bit sad about is that this card is a little bit less viable as an ancient procer, unless you do it like with the Bucks of Wasteland. But otherwise, all the other elders, you want to do as little as damage as possible. And now it's just not happening because you already deal 4 damage. But there isn't any elder that has 4 strength or less. So this can always still consistently trigger any ability. But next one is the Temple of the Mind. The strength is now 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, basically +1 strength on all the levels. It's not that super exciting, but well, this card isn't that exciting. Well, there's a lot of potential going on with this card, but currently it's very underutilized. Fixed forward, well, I'm still not sure how I want to use that. So, but having this as a little stronger of a body, like 3 strength or 3 mana for 7 strength, is a decent body and can soak up a little bit more damage, so you can consistently play this a bit more defensively as well. So that's nice. I don't think the win rate on any level will increase that much, but if you're starting to meme a little bit, well, Temple of the Mind is just becoming a little bit more viable in meme decks because of the small buff. So I'm always happy to have like the bottom tier cards, just lift them up a little bit. They don't have to become meta or anything, just make them less painful if you just want to play underappreciated cards like this one. So next one is Bounded Daemons. Not so long this card was released and now the strength is up for +1 on all levels, as you can see, and I think it's fine. I've played this card especially a lot in draft, and well, this was an interesting and funny card if you are the second player or something, and you can just play this card on your baseline and get some value out of it. So that's definitely interesting. Also a nice counter against Hysteria if your opponent does Bounded Daemons into your own base and then you still spawn a couple of strength spawn units left and right of it. So that's nice. But yeah, on draft this will definitely see a little bit more play. On ranked, I'm not sure. But well, we get more and more ancients, so having a little bit stronger body, especially against the AoE, like Needle Blast and Hunter's Vengeance and all those kind of stuff. This thing might just survive if you have it on a nice little bit of higher level or things like that. I think that's good. Just show some love to these cards. Now we got Diehards, now cost 3 mana down from 4. So this is basically huge. If you just drop a card with 1 mana, that means like you want this card to be business. And maybe it is business time, right? Getting 1 mana reduction. And well, for people who do not play Swarm, if you want to play this card, you basically use Broken Truce, Hunter's Vengeance. Those are the self-killing cards that you can use to trigger its ability. And well, getting it 1 cost mana also makes it a lot easier, right? Because Broken Truce is 3 mana, now this costs 3 mana, so you have like a 6 mana combo to basically nuke your opponent big strong unit while you're also spawning a very strong unit yourself. So let's have a quick look at the card. Like on level 5 for example, we just saw the level 1. It's getting 12 strength. And well, Dreadful Keepers for example, it's like 15, and Conflicted Drakes, let's say you got lucky and you get like 150% value out of it. So this becomes 6, it's 10. And this is just 8. So well, if you make this card happen with abilities, then for sure it will be a good one to have. I think it will still be a niche card, but I think it's fine if the niche card becomes just a little bit more viable. Alright, so next one we got the Martyr Spongers. Movement is now 1 up from 0. Especially for an ancient card, getting movement is perhaps even a bigger buff than reducing mana by 1. Since you just immediately trigger its ability. Otherwise you need it to be, well, comboing it with Petrified Fossils, Forgotten Souls or Herald's Hymn. Now you can just immediately do damage if you have, well, you can already do damage if you have an ancient on the board. So, well, the chip is on. I'm still not the biggest fan of Martyr's Punchers, but I also haven't been playing the card since I do not have it leveled up. But I'm looking forward to meme a little bit with this card whenever the ancient book or ancient tome comes out, and I will just get it on level 4 so it becomes viable in Hero League and stuff. So, well, it's an interesting one. Next one, let's scroll down a little bit. We got the Flameless Lizards. It's the only nerf this month, and well, if you can see, the strength is reduced by 1 and 1 and additional 1 and 2 on level 5. So yeah, this is like, I'm feeling very weird about this. Like, one part of me actually likes this card get nerfed because a stat line of 16 on level 5 is just ridiculous. Obviously, nice combos with Sunbeam Serpent and Dangerous Suitors and whatever dragon synergies you want, because this thing sticks on the board. But, well, the stat line was just ridiculous. Like, you cannot really deal with it. You saw it in draft. If you play this card, it's a common, easily upgraded to level 5. Like, GG, well played if you can survive long enough and your opponent cannot actually deal with this card getting into his base, or you have to spend 2 turns cleaning it up. So, I think it's good that this card gets a little bit of a nerf. And also, if we look at the card like other 5 mana cards, it's still decent value, right? 10 strength, single body, and like it's always consistent. Alof is 7, well, obviously you can fly. It's also legendary, so it's definitely more difficult to get earlier on in your collection. Excited Mouses is 8, and we got Snake Eyes is 8. Rock Workers is 12, but you have a random strength 4. Perhaps Dreadfawns is very similar, basically the token buff stuff, but also very dangerous by getting some nasty AoE. So I think the stat line is pretty decent if you just look at it like this. So what do we get? We get like a nerf compensation for Flameless Lizard. So check it out. It's nice for me to get an additional 120 coins and 5 fusion stones. So thank you very much. And I think this card will still be good in Dragon Synergy decks, so it's fine. So now we get the new cards. First, let's start with the common spell, the Motivation Strike. Silence a target unit, then deal X damage to it. 4 mana, a common. And, well, obviously this just looks like an execution, only with a silence ability. And one important note, it only triggers on a unit, so not on a structure. And, well, there is a lot of units you can silence, especially with the whole Ancients going on, that can also be silenced. I think it becomes more and more important to silence things. Well, a big counter to this card is, you might know it as Stoic Protectors. Also 4 mana, 8 strength body, maxed out, and moves 1 and disables all units surrounding. So that's something if you have a lot of front. But perhaps on the earlier game, you might want to do this, because you can just snipe units on your opponent's baseline. And we might just talk about some cards that are coming up that might be interested to do. But hey, it's yeah, you don't want to destroy it, because you can silence a unit. And for cards like Dawn Sparks, that is very interesting, since you cannot kill it with execution either. But if you can kill it with execution, you do not want to silence it, unless it's like a weird card like Diehards or something. Yeah, we don't see that much in the meta. So this is definitely becoming an attack card, and might also be interesting to see in future brawls, when we may see something with undead brawls or whatever. They might come up with stuff, and then we're gonna see this card in play. For now, I think it will be just a niche card, but it's nice that there is a counter now, also for all the tournaments going on, and you know what your opponent deck has. If you have like a tech slot in your deck, you can just put in and put out. So nice that they diversify a little bit. but I understand when people aren't that excited about it. So next one, we got Zero the Resurrector. And I just want to notice here on the top, you can see my video I made about this card. What I predicted, basically that Zero or Osiris or Cericio, what I called it in the video, that this would be a legendary ancient hero with something with resurrection. So congrats to myself for predicting that. But let's just continue on with the card. Before moving, respawn X surrounding non-legendary friendly units destroyed since the beginning of the turn. So that's a very interesting one. I think you can do a lot with this. Like, it's 7 mana, so it's really expensive. So you have to, well, you can expect at 7 mana you have some units on the board that can die. Your opponent might be surprised because of it, since he can just destroy something, or you can just put some. Yeah, there's a lot of tactical positioning going on with this card, where you just plan your turn, one turn in front, where you basically place a unit not in front of your opponent unit, but just one tile behind it. So it runs in and dies, and you can just respawn it with 0. So think about nice undeath like snow masons, that will be sick. But obviously you cannot just use it with any value to get a lot of value out of it. And if we just look at the card, like the stat line, it's 7, 8, 10, 12, 15. That's also really sick for 7 mana, and it has movement. So I think this card, stat-wise alone, is already interesting. And its ability, I don't think it's too difficult to trigger at least some value out of it. Obviously, your opponent can start cleaning up everything in its own turn, so no value will be granted by Zero the Resurrector. But you can just even think on even later than 7 mana, where you just play Gifted Recruits in your opponent unit, then play Zero the Resurrector surrounding it, and then you just get your Gifted Recruits back for additional 5 strength. So that's pretty sick, alright? So let's have a quick look about how this works. Like, you can just play it in your own turn, but you can also play it like if this is the start of your turn. Like, the untapped Goldest will face this, so nothing happens on A3, but B3 attacks B4, so your Flameless Lizard dies. So this will be resurrected here. And, well, your Lawless Herd won't do anything either. But even if you do not have your 0 here on the board, you can just also play it surrounding this tile, and then you get another Flameless Lizard with 7 strength. So that's really insane that you can just get value like that. And then this card becomes like 14 for 7 mana. That's already 200% for a level 1 card. So pretty sick, pretty sick. And don't forget that this card can just be placed on your baseline and then slowly gain value over time, since you have to clear it, and it's just slowly pushing forward. And if you combine this with chip and stuff, yeah, things can get out of control really fast. Just imagine if you have like 2 of these cards on either side, just respawning all your units and stuff. Yeah, that's gonna be nasty. And well, pretty okay, I would say. So the third card, let's talk about Gray the Balancer. Also an ancient hero, 4 mana. And before moving, destroy the weakest unit from the player who had most units on the board. So it sounds very similar. I like this yin-yang look that makes like balance things out while you balance the game board with units. So a nice touch there for Shipyard Artist. And well, it immediately triggers. So this will be a crazy card in the meta, since, well, how are you gonna use this? You have to create a structure deck or something, or you just play really big units. Like, you have to come up with a lot of deck crafting, and you have to do a lot of planning and countering it. Like, what kind of decks do you want to use this card? It's gonna be all over the place. Nice thing about this card is Also, if you just look at draft, but also in ranked, you don't need to have this card on a very high level, since the ability doesn't skill. And the same goes, by the way, for Zero. Like, it respawns a little bit, but if you just, like, how often do you gonna respawn more than 3 units? I don't think so. And same here. It will just always destroy the weakest units from the play with the most units on the board. So you will have a nice ability trigger. And this is also really important in draft, where you have just like, well, you cannot really upgrade legendaries that often in draft. So if you have this card, well, you get this as last card in your draft. So you already know what kind of deck you're having built. If it fits, then this card can be amazing, since you can just put it in. You don't have to like this card doesn't skill, blah blah blah. No, this card doesn't need to skill that much, since it can destroy a level 5 card from your opponent. And in draft you often play very leveled up cards, so you tend to go with level 5 cards, and the rest of your deck is like level 1. So like at the 6-win match. So at that point, this card becomes really interesting, where you can have a nice comeback potential, or you can focus a little bit more on chipping or on structures, all those kind of things where this card doesn't trigger on. So yeah, I'm really looking forward, and this card will be, I think, the most creative and the most tactical during matches, because it's gonna be like a party every time this card is placed. Obviously, you can have like just a bad matchup if you play a lot of weak cards, but let's see how it goes. Very interesting indeed. So these cards will have some packs you can just buy, that will be fine. Here you can see them. Well, the new brawls for these cards, same as usual, 0 mana, level 1. It will be like the warrior brawls, everything can be level 3. So just imagine Zero the Resurrector, you got lucky, or buy the card, you got at level 3. So you have like 0 mana, Zero the Resurrector in your deck of level 3. So if you do not have the cards in your deck, then definitely do not play these brawls, since you get bushwhacked really, really hard. But if you do, then have fun and fighting it off with the 0 mana versions of it. There also will be a cheapened brawl, and even 50%. The 14th of April. Well, enjoy your free rubies and fusion stones and coins and cards and whatever you look out of it. Then we got the Easter offers. As usual, the exclusive packs will be available for April 17th and 24th. And what I already predicted, they will do some exclusive avatars. I think for the collectors, maybe like myself, who want to have them all, they want to get these avatars, and I think that is a nice way for them to promote packs and get the avatars going. Obviously, I'm not that fond. As if you look at my personal collection, well, I don't really need the resources, and pay up $50 or 50 euros for an avatar is kinda expensive. So yeah, I'm happy for Stormbound as a game. Personally, I'm a bit sad, because I just don't have the money to, I don't have the mana to spend 50 mana on this offer. Let's just go with mana. Some people go with bread or money, but I don't have the mana to go for all these kind of things. Well, obviously I can, but there are other things I have to pay, like the roof over my head. So here's them on the bigger one. I really do like this duckling, but it's also the $50 one. But it's nice that they do it, and I like the shipyard mascot on this one. Anyways, copy improvements. This is an interesting one. I'm not sure about the name, but this is basically a localization, and this will be very interesting. I don't think I will spend too much time on it, but I suppose Kitty, because I recently undertook going through all the card abilities to improve the English. So I think Kitty went wild and finally made everything correct. So we're gonna see the American English with the Z and the S, and without the U and words like this. And capitalization, which is nice, is everything basically. Capitalization will be consistent, card abilities will be consistent, and like something's already implied and that won't be put on the card, so the card descriptions will become a little bit smaller and more readable. Pluralization will be removed, and highlighting will also be consistent. So basically all the actions will be done, the leveling steps will be done, and bordering and surrounding. So really sweet. And when it's going to be updated, well, here it is. And FAQ for the Greater Balancer, it doesn't count itself when resolving its ability. And then I want to end with a note that Stormbound Kitty, the website, has already turned 3 years old. So well, everything we see here is made by her, and you can press on this supporting me button, and then you can do some donating and help her out and show some gratitude. If you enjoy what she done, just need a credit card, and then you are solid. So that's about this update. I'm looking forward for the new cards. I hope I get lucky and get some copies, so I actually can play around with them a little bit. That would be amazing. Anyways, hope you enjoy. I'm really interested to hear your thoughts about it, and I see you next time. Cheers.